What if every dream you started ended in failure? What if the world laughed at your ideas, investors abandoned you, and your own companies collapse not once, but multiple times? Would you stop, or would you keep building until your dream not only succeeded, but changed the entire world? This is the story of Henry Ford, a man who wasn't the first to build a car, but the first to build a car for everyone. A man who turned failure into fuel, and, in doing so, reinvented not just transportation, but society itself. Before Henry Ford became a household name, he was just a curious young man in Michigan, fascinated by machines. He dreamed of building a car that ordinary people could afford, not just the wealthy, but the road was anything but smooth. His first company, it failed. His investors lost patience. His second company also collapsed. Critics mocked him. Cars are toys for the rich. They'll never matter to the average person. Imagine failing not once, but twice, and being told your vision is foolish. For many, that would have been the end of the road. But not for Ford. Ford wasn't obsessed with just making cars. He was obsessed with making them accessible. He didn't want cars to be a luxury. He wanted them to be a tool for freedom, for farmers, for workers, for families. He believed, if I can build a car cheap enough for the common man, I can change the way the world lives, works, and dreams. It wasn't about machines. It was about people. In 1908, after years of struggle, Ford introduced the Model T. Simple, reliable, durable, and, most importantly, affordable. But building the car was only half the challenge. The real revolution came from how he built it. In 1913, Ford pioneered the moving assembly line. Instead of one craftsman building a car from start to finish, teams of workers specialized in single tasks. Cars moved down the line, each worker adding their part. The result? Production time dropped from 12 hours to 90 minutes. Costs plummeted. For the first time in history, the average American could own a car. The Model T wasn't just a vehicle. It was a key that unlocked freedom of movement, transformed cities, reshaped economies, and redefined what was possible. Experts in innovation call this democratization of technology. Ford didn't invent the automobile, but he made it available to the masses. And that's what sparked societal transformation. Psychologists point out something else. Ford embodied what's called a growth mindset. He saw failure not as evidence he was unworthy, but as data, as feedback to improve. Modern business scholars often say, innovation, ISNT, about creating something new, S, about making something useful available to everyone. Ford understood that decades before the term existed. If Henry Ford's life were told as a parable, it might go like this. A man sees a river too wide for ordinary people to cross. Others build boats for kings and merchants, but he dreams of a bridge strong enough for everyone. His first bridge collapses. His second cracks. The crowd laughs, but he keeps building. And one day, his bridge holds. Suddenly, farmers, workers, families all walk across. Ford's success didn't just change cars. It changed work itself. His assembly line became the model for industries worldwide. Factories, production, supply chains adopted the principle of efficiency he pioneered. But Ford also raised wages, famously paying his workers $5 a day, double the average at the time. Critics said he was crazy, but he believed if workers earned more, they could also buy the products they built. This wasn't just business. It was vision. It created a new middle class in America. Ford didn't just change how we move. He changed how we live. So, what does Henry Ford's story mean for us today? It reminds us that failure isn't the opposite of success, the road to it. Every collapse taught him something new. Every closed door pointed him toward a better way. It teaches us that innovation isn't about being first. It's about being persistent, about believing so deeply in your vision that you refine it, reshape it, and rebuild it until the world can no longer ignore it. And most of all, it teaches us that the greatest impact comes not when we build for ourselves, but when we build for everyone. Henry Ford showed us that perseverance and vision can turn failure into revolution. He didn't just build cars. He built freedom. He built opportunity. He built a future that belonged to all. So, here's my question to you. What assembly line are you building in your life? What dream are you willing to fail for again and again till it changes not just your world, but the world around you? Remember, you don't have to invent something brand new. Sometimes, the real innovation is making something possible for everyone. If Henry Ford's story inspired you, tap LIKE so this message travels further. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded that failure is not the end, it's the blueprint. And Dan T. Forget to subscribe for more modern parable stories that remind us that perseverance and vision are the true engines of progress. Because sometimes one story is all it takes to change the way you see your own journey.